Hey everyone, Farzana here. If this is the first time we're meeting, I'm a life coach and a transformation teacher, and I help people just like you navigate through the process of change and personal development. Today, I want to tackle the self-sabotaging habit of people-pleasing because, once you can get over this people-pleasing habit, it is so liberating to be able to choose to please yourself first and foremost. So if you're a people pleaser, stay tuned and let's shake this thing. So I'd like to first admit and share that I too was a major people pleaser up until like my mid-30s, and it still creeps up once in a while if it's triggered, right? But for the most part, I think I have done a pretty great job of overcoming the people-pleasing tendency, and I gotta tell you, it has been a game changer, and I want to help you to be able to do the very same thing, because literally people-pleasing is a major roadblock. Now, the reasons for my becoming a people-pleaser were pretty much textbook. Partially, it was due to culture. As a child, I was raised to be polite and kind to everyone, and especially to elders, no matter what. You just didn't question anything that elders said. I was raised to be agreeable and to never stir up conflict. I was the youngest, so it seemed like a pretty good strategy to be well-liked, to keep out of trouble, and to fit in. I liked making people in my family happy and keeping the peace. But sometimes I got pretty resentful of having to play nice when I knew that I was being manipulated and being taken advantage of for just being a nice, kind, polite person. But nevertheless, this people-pleasing habit got ingrained and installed into me at a very early age. And I began to understand that this people-pleasing habit was a great technique for survival. The thing is, subconsciously, I began to believe that my happiness and my needs were not as important as those around me. I was made to believe that trying to make myself happy and speaking up for myself and my needs was selfish. Anyone else ever felt that way? Needless to say, all of this people-pleasing behavior and putting everyone else's needs ahead of my own just constantly made me feel less than and not good enough. Aside from my own story of how I became a people pleaser, what is it exactly that leads most people into this self-sabotaging habit of people pleasing? Is two main big fears. The first fear is the fear of rejection and abandonment. So this fear of rejection and abandonment can be traced all the way back to our early childhood relationships, right? Our relationships to our caregivers and our parents, needing them for our survival. We need to keep them happy. We need to keep them loving us and caring for us, right? And so you might have felt abandoned because perhaps your parents got divorced and one parent left, and then you felt it was your fault and you felt abandoned. You must be unlovable, and so they have left. Or it could be a situation where perhaps you have a caregiver or parents who are just emotionally unavailable, and you got it into your head that you just weren't lovable enough or interesting enough to grab their attention, or funny enough or smart enough to keep their interest and attention. The second sort of fear that can lead to people-pleasing behavior is the fear of failure. The fear of failure belief is that if I make a mistake, I'm going to disappoint someone, and then if I disappoint someone, I'm probably going to get punished in some way or the other. This fear of failure, again, stems from early childhood experiences. Like, for example, if you were always punished, and punished even for the smallest of mistakes or accidents, or punished if you didn't even actually do anything, punished for the smallest of things, punished for the smallest of mistakes. People who are raised by overly critical parents will often adopt people-pleasing habits as a survival technique. Early experiences with harsh criticism and punishment can lead to anxiety disorders like perfectionism or procrastination or even depression. All right, so let's take a look at 3 typical people-pleasing tendencies and how they hurt you and how you can work with it and change it. Trait number 1, you are constantly apologizing. Do you find yourself constantly apologizing for things that you haven't even done? For things that are got nothing to do with you? For things that are not even your fault, but you feel like you have to apologize? Do you always feel like the scapegoat and that everyone is going to blame you for whatever goes wrong? Listen, you don't have to keep apologizing. You are not the one to blame for everything going wrong. You don't have to apologize for just being you. You don't have to apologize because you're feeling uncomfortable or the situation is awkward or perhaps you're feeling insecure and don't know what to say. And you certainly don't have to apologize for somebody else's mistake or bad behavior. You don't need to apologize or take the blame to make other people feel better or more comfortable. It's not your job to make others around you feel comfortable. Typical trait number 2 of people pleasers, the inability to say no. Do you have a hard time saying no even when you want to say no and you know the right answer is to say no? Do you constantly say yes to stuff you don't really want to do? Do you begrudgingly follow through? Or do you then later flake out with some lame excuse? In either case, you're not doing anyone any favors, right? You will never reach your own goals and your own success if you don't learn to say no to stuff that you don't have the bandwidth, the time, or the energy to take on. You will never reach your own goals and success until you learn to start saying no and start speaking up for yourself. Have you ever noticed that resentment or passive-aggressive behavior, like doing the favor begrudgingly, just usually makes everything worse? You see, like compounded resentment is the number 1 destroyer of relationships. Avoiding resentment and passive-aggressive behavior requires for you to speak your true feelings and to have the courage to speak your needs. Communicating your true feelings and your needs is the only way to avoid resentment and passive-aggressive behavior. And you have to state what you really want and how you really feel, even though it may end up upsetting the other person. And this brings us right into the trait number 3 of people pleasers, and that is the fear of upsetting or angering other people. Typical trait number 3 of people pleasers is feeling uncomfortable when people get upset, having a fear of conflict. Do you get really uncomfortable when people start getting upset with you when you are speaking your opinion or, stating your feelings? You have to remember that other people's response is not your responsibility. Just because someone is getting angry doesn't mean that you necessarily have done something wrong. Not being able to handle when someone is getting upset can lead you to compromise your own needs or values, which, needless to say, is not going to make you feel really great about yourself, right? Plus, when certain people see your discomfort with conflict, they will take advantage of that situation, right? And they may take advantage of your kindness by asking for you to do more than is actually reasonable. So again, you have to practice saying no and setting boundaries. All right, so these were just 3 very typical people-pleasing tactics. There are actually many, many more, but we don't have the time to cover all of them in this one short video. But those were the 3 very, very typical ones. So as you can see, people-pleasing is a very unhelpful and dysfunctional operating system, and an operating system that you're not stuck with. See, as soon as we become aware of our behaviors and our habits and how they are working or not working for us, we always have a choice to change. See, just because you got a certain program in your early childhood or later on in life, you are not stuck with it. You are able to change your habits anytime that you want to. And so it's the same thing with the people-pleasing habit. Always, always remember that you are your number 1 priority. You are your number 1 caretaker. And so take good care of yourself. Take as good care of yourself as you do of those around you. You yourself deserve your own love and kindness that you express to those around you. So take good care of yourself, because the truth of the matter is you can't actually give quality love and care to others until you actually truly love and take good care of yourself. And when you love yourself, everything changes. So start setting yourself free from the people-pleasing habit today. Start small by saying no to something that you can easily say no to. Start expressing your true opinion about things. Take a stand for something you believe in. Be yourself. Stop apologizing for being yourself. Stop looking for other people for their approval, and take care of yourself. Make yourself your number 1 priority. People will always love and treat you the way you love and treat yourself. So treat yourself well. It all begins with you. The way that you love and treat yourself, what you feel you deserve, is what the universe gives back to you. My name is Farzana. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, and I hope you will start dropping your people-pleasing ways today. If you found this video to be valuable, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with anyone who might find it valuable. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, and I'll see you in the next episode.